unless like can maybe it's candy, guitars, and maybe it's candy actually. I wonder because there is a candy, right? Candy and wolf. That makes sense. Um, are they supposed to be switched around? What if I did wolf? Oops. Wolf here. Oh, wait. Shoot. No, 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 no. Candy goes here. Uh, Candy here. You. Wolf, you go here. So the question is, what is he? Student, maybe? Hey, okay. Okay, there we go. There we go. 3 entries are correct and have been unlocked. Carl, Candy, and Wolf. And we didn't lock anybody else because we didn't get anybody, but that's good. So we have locked that down. Now, the question is, who, oh, who? So I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to throw you look older than you. So I'm just going to say, and I'm going to say you're, because you had the film school on, I'm going to say you're a student in college. And then I'm going to say, oops, you are a student K through 12. That's my guess, but I don't know your names. Also, you're married, which is weird. Gwen, maybe there's more about Gwen Roottree. Gwen Roottree. Gwen was, but she shouldn't have been named because her father took Gwen Roottree. Father? No. Gwen Roottree divorce. You come across, okay. By searching for variations of Gwen Roottree, you come across some mentions of marriage to Wild Bill Williams. All right, hold on. Let's go back to Gwen here. Wild Bill Williams. They divorced before the birth of her second son. Okay. So then let's try searching Wild Bill up here. You find some information on the website about old films that are not yet. Wild Bill Williams was the leading man of some non-notable movies from the 50s. He appeared in an adventure movie called Fortune Favors the Grave, which has yet to be released to home audiences. He was known for his good looks and off-screen romances, specifically with blondes. He was married 4 different times to 4 different actresses. There's a famous Hollywood rumor that he even approached Marilyn Monroe at a party and that she was already aware of his reputation. Wild Bill grew up in Paris, France. He returned there often. Okay. Kids? Sons? Okay. So then what about, let's go back to Gwen. Roottree. And then Paris. Okay. Kids, no. Sons. No, okay. So we can do this real quick. We can put Bill. Wild Bill Williams. There's nothing there. Okay, interesting. Um, let me see here. So, let's go. Let's go back here real quick. So, Miracle Roottree. Close you up. Go back here, because Miracle Junior and Eli M. Who's Eli M? Eli M. Nothing. Okay. So we know that this is Carl here. This is Miracle Jr. That has to be Miracle Jr. Okay. Just so we can get rid of some of these names. Okay. And then Caroline. Oh, there's Eli right there. Eli M. She's pregnant. So that is... Wait, Gwyneth M and Eli M? Could they be married? If that's true, Eli, this could be Gwendolyn. Gwyneth. That could be Gwyneth. Don't know who that is. Maybe Ernie? Bonnie. I don't know who Bonnie is. Bonnie? Roottree? Okay. What if we just do Roottree again? His daughter's also... Okay, so nothing really... What about just Root? Root is a pretty... Although searches are not case, for example, always has a period after. Okay. Root. The period is part of the name. As a clothing company, they make websites for, or they make clothes for children from toddlers to teenagers. Although their website is down, likely due to increased web traffic, you find countless retail sites attempting to advertise their clothes towards their target audience. One of them has this to say: "You spy the Roottree sisters looking hella fly on catalogs, magazines, and posters. Now you too can be like Riley, Rose, or Raina." You also come across a website from a collector of clothing catalogs. Apparently, Root has released 2 catalogs per year every year since 1984, and Raina appeared on almost all of them. There is only one that the webmaster considered a collector's item enough to mention. It seems that Brenda Roottree, the Roottree sisters' mother and Root's head designer, appeared on one cover holding her daughter Rose in 1985. The site says this was the only time her daughter was ever listed with her birth name, Carly Roottree. But we didn't get a new picture, right? No. Okay. Let's see. So we know that the spouse's name is Nicole here, right? So Nicole Madsen or Nicole Smith, but there's no... Nicole Madsen. Nothing relevant. And of course, Nicole Smith could be anybody and everybody. Oh, wait. Eli Madsen. Eli Madsen. Okay. Who is this other one? Gwyneth M. Gwyneth Madsen. What is periodic? Wait, hold on. Search periodicals. Oh, interesting. Business Watch. Roottree. They flood the results. How about Eli M? Or Carl Roottree with Root for his work with Root has been added to your evidence. Elias Roottree. Okay. What about the mom? They said, hold on. Oh, and a public library. Oh, there's so much that's going on. Okay, so Root, period. From a club. Apparently, Root has released 2 catalogs, periodicals. Root, Rose, Root, Brenda, Roottree. Okay. Let's go back here. So, there's a picture of Carl right there. Carl Roottree was voted Watchman of the Year in 1987, and a photo of him appears on the cover. According to the cover, Business Watch is the magazine for and about corporate leaders and has ongoing coverage of who's who in the corporate world. Carl was chosen for his work not for his work at Roottree Candy, but rather a clothing company, Root. There's a brief history. Before they married, Carl's wife Brenda was a fashion consultant. When Raina was born, Brenda retired to become a stay-at-home mother. Looking for a creative outlet, she spent any free time she had at the sewing machine. Raina's new clothes were a hit with the other parents, including Carl's cousin, Jim Roottree. Okay. Carl's cousin, Jim Roottree, a notable singer who had a young daughter around the same age as Raina, word spread. So we already know that part. I'm not going to worry. I thought that would be different. By 1982, Brenda's patterns were being copied by other brands. Seeing the demand, Carl and his second cousin, Ernie Jr., who had just become... There we go. Okay. So Ernie Jr., where are you? Carl and his second cousin, Ernie Jr. Other blood relatives who have a say in the company's finances refused to fund anything other than candy. So Carl personally spent his entire inheritance to bankroll the clothing company. When the profits began to appear, however, the rest of the family changed their tune. They repaid his investment, and now Root exists under the umbrella of the candy company, and they all benefit. Per tradition, or perhaps superstition, new clothes always debuted the way the first ones did. Raina became their catalog's cover model. As she grew, the product line expanded to older kids as well. Her younger sisters were then recruited to show off the baby clothes. Carl was voted Watchman of the Year primarily for his personal gamble and the ensuing payoff. Okay, so we got some good information there. Ernie Jr., we know, is now the second cousin. And this is Elias. So before I forget, let's go back here. We can toss in this. We know that's Carl. We know this is Elias here. Okay. So Elias Roottree was voted Watchman of the Year by Business Watch in 1936, and a painting of him appears on the cover. The magazine says he was voted Watchman of the Year specifically to recognize the global rollout of 5 pieces. Inside the article is a timeline of 5 pieces. 08, Elias forms the Roottree Candy Company after marrying his wife, who inherited a maple farm during the period before 5 pieces. The company is barely profitable. 09, Elias has a daughter, the first of 5. Here we go. Let's go back to starting point here. Elias has a daughter, the first of 5. 4 more follow. Highlight that. 22, Elias invents 5 pieces. Each of the 5 flavors is chosen based on the initials of his 5 children, 1 flavor per child. 5 pieces are first sold in some Pittsburgh markets. 5 pieces are rolled out to all of New England. The new flavor and recipe is finalized, and the candy begins nationwide distribution in department stores. The Roottree Candy Company purchases every available maple farm in Pennsylvania, holy moly, in preparation for the global rollout. With the help of his son, Elias Roottree Jr., here we go, his son, Elias Roottree Jr., architecture firm, a new industrialized factory and warehouse are built in Butler County. I wonder if I should be trying. Production is tripled and worldwide distribution begins. Okay, so Elias Roottree Jr. So now let's go back here because we know Elias Roottree Jr. There's 5 flavors because the original inventor. Wait, 5 pieces. Let's go spider search. 5 pieces. From marketing, here we go. Go back here. Add a page. 5 pieces. Okay. From marketing materials and various candy history sites, you learn that 5 pieces are an iconic candy sold by the Roottree Candy Company. Although they are no longer the company's only popular product, they still sell well to this day. Coated candies since the late 20s have been pressed into the shape of maple leaf. But the shape and combination, there's also a history of print advertisement website that claims to have 5 pieces of advertisement scanned from a book called The Sweet Candy of History, Volume 2 by Charles Lee. Unfortunately, when you click through the website, it seems like all the images links are broken. But we can go to the public library, right? So let's highlight this. Oops. Highlight this. There we go. Public library. Author name. Charles Lee, but let's just go this. Charles Lee. Published 1985. Here we go. This part of a book series about things in the candy started in 1925 and continues onward to chronicle the rise of mass production. The book ends with a look into the future as candy is envisioned in 1985. It has some print advertisements. You'll find a newspaper ad for 5 pieces added to evidence. Okay, so here we go. It's a miracle, a modern candy for a modern society. You found an advertisement in the Sweet History of Candy, Volume 2 by Charles Lee. It's from 1928, 6 years after the debut of 5 pieces. It states that flavors are inspired by their children and the order is grape, elderberry, cinnamon extract, melon, and the newest flavor, Miracle Berry. So now, all right, so we know Miracle's the last one. Let's go back to the beginning here, which is grape. Grape is the first one. So, Roottree has to be Roottree, has to be the last name. So, Gwendolyn Roottree. We don't know her occupation. Then we have elderberry, Roottree. So Elias Jr. Oh, geez, Louise. His son was named Elias Jr., right? Starting point. His son, Elias Roottree Jr. Initially, like 1 flavor per child. So we'll just say him right there. And then cinnamon extract, CM. So Roottree, Clancy Edward. Wait, let's go back here. Elias Jr. Elias Roottree Jr.'s name is listed on a website about historical buildings in Butler County. He's listed alongside an old residence that's been... Oh, that's right. He was the architect, right? So, Elias Jr. Architect. So, son of Elias... architect. buildings in Butler County. He is listed alongside an old residence called Hunch Top House. Let's just see Butler County. Butler County is listed outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. While the Roottree Candy Company now has its headquarters in the city, the company began on a small farm within the Butler County limits, and the area has a lot of history with the family. The Butler County Times is presumably, we'll highlight that, presumably the local paper there. There are likely articles over the years involving the Roottree family and those adjacent to them. It's been automatically added to your periodical. As a side note, a video game called The Rootrees Are Dead was once set in Butler County, and it turns out the creator never lived in or near Butler County, even had any connection to Butler County. Okay, and then what was Elias Jr.? What was that Hunch Top House? I don't know these in this game. Okay, so that's it. So periodicals, Butler County Times. Let's just search. Has played hosts over the years, including, okay, Butler County, Elias Jr. Elias Roottree. Elias appears in quite often. Almost everything you find in the first few pages of the results are the same types of things you find in the internet search. You identify posts of blah, 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 blah. Elias Roottree, maybe Elias Roottree Jr. A small feature details a building that Elias Roottree Jr. architecture worked called Hunch Top House. It also mentions that Elias Jr. was Elias's oldest son. Okay, so we know that we got it right here, right? Because first is the daughter, Gwendolyn. And then we have the architect. We just need a picture. Elias. Wait, could that be, no, go away. Could that be you, Eli? I bet that could be you. Eli. Okay. That's you. I'm locking it in. That's you. I don't know your name. I mean, I don't know your wife's name, but I would assume, that you could be Gwyneth. Gwyneth Madsen? Then could you be Nicole Madsen? Hold on. Gwyneth Madsen? That's probably not even how you spell her name. Gwyneth Madsen. Okay. I actually don't think that this is right. Because I don't think that this is right. But I'm going to leave it for now. So he's the oldest. So we just have two more to figure out up here. But then Carl is, so there's a cousin. And I think it's a second cousin, right? So it's one of these two. Because all of these, they didn't split up. It's got to be one of these two. So if this is Ernest Madsen Jr. Okay, wait. I'm going to take you away. Ernest Madsen Jr. What if I just do Madsen? No, okay. Ernest Madsen Jr. Ernest Madsen. But it can't be, actually can't, because this would still be Roottree. Like this line would still be Roottree. This could actually be guardian, adoption, or otherwise. Okay, I'm not sure about that. Unless this like split up. Because like they say, where was oh, we don't have Lauren on the board yet. Okay. All right. Before I get, let's finish up. So Gwendolyn Roottree. Let's go back to her, because Gwendolyn. So we know this is Eli. This is Miracle. This is Carl. So who is Gwendolyn? This, I think, might be Gwyneth. I think these two are married. Actually. Gwendolyn would either be... I think Gwendolyn would have to be her then, right? Shoot, which one was that? You. Right? Yeah, okay. But we don't know her occupation. Gwendolyn Roottree. Let's see if I can actually spell it. Actually, I can just do this and then see. I think I've done this. Gwendolyn Roottree. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Go back here real quick. So, melon, elderberry, cinnamon extract, and melon. Okay. What about you? Roottree. Is there an M? So we know it's not that. It could be Margalit Roottree. Margalit. What about periodicals? Margalit. Trying to think. Ernest Madsen. No, okay. All right. But that has, because her mother, yeah, and then her dad. Wait, Gwyn Roottree. Is this does this take us anywhere? You find some blah blah blah. 1953, two secretaries cut their hair short and pose as businessmen to get ahead in life, starring Gwyn Roottree, Leslie Florence, and Harrison Lane. Did you know titles a play on words, or as it can read that there are two women or men similar to other men, or that the men are fond of them? Okay. Gwen, Roottree. We've already tried this. Yeah. What about periodicals? Gwen, Roottree. Ooh. For long, if at all. For local movies that happen to list. You may find ads. The Butler County Times has been around. You may find ads from the 1950s for local movie theaters that happen to post. Local movie theater? Theater? Do I have to... Okay. What about movie? No. Butler County Times. Okay. That's because I didn't spell... That's not how you spell Butler. Butler County Times is presumably the local paper there. There are likely articles from over the years following the Roottree family and those adjacent about automatically, blah, blah, blah. Root trees are dead. What about that? Root trees are dead. The Root trees are dead, not to be confused with a similar game called the Flutenies are Bread, is a video game about a fictional family called the Roottrees and about discovering their lineage after the Roottree sister are killed in a plane crash. The game takes place in Butler County, which is a real county in Pennsylvania, but uses fictional elements such as a fake newspaper called Butler County Times. Creator of the game does not know anyone who lives in Butler County. Okay, so this is just about the game. Got it. Okay, so we know that this is right. I don't know who she is, but I know that. That's correct. And then. So Margalit, and she wasn't in here, right? She wasn't. So I don't know who Clark is. I don't know who Bonnie is. Not sure about Guy. But it went Guy. Oh, wait. Guy, Hudson, Ernie, and then Carl. Those were the presidents. So Carl, Ernie was somewhere here. He has to be. Man, I am. But this, so CM, who is CM? Right, it's CM. Go back here. 5 pieces. Cinnamon extract. CE. Oh, okay, we could have done that earlier because I know who that is. Oops. Wow, maybe. Clancy Edward Roottree. Clancy Edward Roottree. Clancid. The Clancid Trust is a... Okay, here we go. So... CE Roottree. Okay. Clancid Edward Trust, or Clancid Trust, is a highly unusual corporate arrangement named after Clancy Edward Roottree, who was Elias's son and the Roottree's head lawyer at the time. Due to its unique nature, it's often brought up in online discussions about financial matters and inheritance as an oddity. The company mandates that a fixed percentage of its profits are split every quarter amongst bank accounts representing each of the direct relatives of Gwyneth, and every quarter, fixed percentage, each direct between Elias and Gwyneth relatives. An account is created for each blood relative at birth and first accessible when they reach 18. The actual numbers have never been fully disclosed, but due to the ever-increasing success of the company, it is a significant amount of money. The Clancid Trust is known for being essentially impossible to get around due to many checks and balances written into it. Still, there have been a few situations in which family members have tried to forcibly remove another member from the trust. Most details online are pretty vague since the matters are handled internally. The only information you discover is from a university law school which apparently had a guest lecture about the Roottrees versus RR in 1994. While looking into the Clancy Trust, you often find mentions to the 5-piece guarantee, which went into effect at the same time. Okay, so let's just start with the Clancy Trust. Clancy Trust. So that's the same. Got it. What about the Roottree versus RR? Who is RR? You find very few details about the particular incident. With regards to the Clancy Trust, a student that attended the lecture about it wrote the following on a legal oddities website. From what you can tell, RR attempted unsuccessfully to remove a fellow family member from the trust. It was said that RR attempted 2 arguments. First, the person in question was born out of wedlock, and second, they committed a significant crime against a fellow family member. Still, due to the ironclad wording of the Clancy Trust, it was impossible to remove any direct descendant of Elias Roottree without completely dissolving the trust. Okay, so then we go legal oddities. Okay. So who is RR? Let's just dump a name. Roottree. And R. Ronald Roottree or Robert Roottree? Robert Roottree? Oh, oops. That's not what I wanted. Robert Roottree. Ronald Roottree. Okay. Clancy Jr.? So wait, then. So Clancy Jr. is one of these. Wait, and then this name, who? So that has to be. Who's the last star, right? That has to be Lauren then, right? That has to be Lauren. The last star has to be Lauren Roottree. So, oh yeah, it is. I just don't have a picture of her. How do I get a picture of Lauren Roottree? What about public library? Lauren Roottree. Okay. What did she write, Lauren? A Life Between Wars. It seems you hit the jackpot here. This is a book occasionally taught in schools. You even find a hardcover edition for students that have full-page, high-quality pictures in it. A summary of the contents of the book, photo, as well as some particularly relevant entries from the diary have been added to your 7 things. Holy moly. Okay. All right. So, the below are notes and observations you made while skimming through Lauren Roottree's diary, pages in A Life Between Wars. Lauren Roottree is on the notable Roottrees list, and she'll be marked on the chart with a star. The book was published in 1965 and consists of diary entries that stretch from 1940 to 1965. The most important event that much of the diary... Go back. I want this. Okay. Lauren's thoughts revolve around was the loss of her husband, Jacob. Jacob died in the final months of World War II while Lauren was pregnant. Okay. This left her to raise her son, Clark, alone. Lauren never remarried and only had one child. By skimming the pages, you glean the following. She was the granddaughter of Elias and Gwyneth on her father's side. Her mother's family was called the Costles, but she hardly ever mentions them. Her father, who she always refers to as Pop, was the head lawyer for the Roottree Candy Company and helped write a legal. So we found our way around that. This would have made things hell of a lot easier, that's for sure. But we did find our way around it. It's clear from the context that the Roottrees have internal shorthand names for the different generations of their family. Lauren uses them often. 5 pieces. The first generation of children by Gwyneth, Lauren's father was in this generation. The next generation, Lauren's generation. And the free spirits, the generation after Lauren's, including her son. Okay. Complaints. An entry titled Complaints from Lauren Roottree's Diary, written in 1953. The entry seems to focus specifically on one of Lauren's family members, Gwen, who is on the notable Roottrees. Okay. So let's go back to Gwen here. It seems everyone has something to complain about. Gwen, as an only child, complained of loneliness. I told her that being expected to watch after 3 younger brothers didn't feel like a blessing, but it fell on deaf ears. 3 younger brothers. So Lauren was the oldest. 3 younger brothers. I think... that didn't say, but okay. So she was the oldest. During the summer, where I went to stay with her and Aunt Margot, Lauren's... Lauren's mom, Margot. Lauren's mom, Margot. Okay. I hope she would be the sister I never had and that I'd do the same for her. I even tried to dye my hair blonde to fit in with the 2 of them. What a mess. But she just complained. To her, I was the lucky cousin. Now she's off living the glamorous life while I'm stuck here with Clark. I must admit, seeing her everywhere contributes to my unhappiness. Her visage stares at me even now from my coffee table. She gets to be in starlet and tell tales of how she gallivants around the world, kissing the likes of Harrison Lane and Wild Bill Williams. Lauren. No, Gwen. Harrison Lane and Wild Bill Williams. She's the first Roottree woman to be anything other than a housewife, and I am jealous. She's the first Roottree, so every other Roottree around that time and before her was a housewife, and I'm jealous. If I were not a single mother, could I make my own way in this world? But I'm off topic. A girl with all the luck in the world was jealous of me, and now, though I have been undoubtedly burdened by terrible tragedy, I am also lucky to be born to a family that can support me for eternity. I can raise a child without worry, unlike countless other widows. If any of them were to hear me complaining, they would rightfully scoff, just like I do at Gwen. Dynasty. From Lauren Roottree's diary, written in 1958, it focuses on the day her grandfather Elias, he was stepped down as president of the Roottree Candy Company and the meeting to determine his successor. I wish I had been a fly on the wall today. Clancy told me that everyone got quite heated. Granddad told me that Granddad was furious none of his sons would take over as president, but that's what he gets for holding on to it so long. With architects, preachers, and lawyers, nobody's got time for candy. So with the 5 pieces refusing to step up, it came down to us next gens. Pop argued at length that the company should stay with our branch of the family since we still have their Roottree name. I'm not even sure Clancy would have wanted it, but he's the one who volunteered. So Clancy, okay, wait. Okay. So he was a lawyer. And then Lauren, Clancy Edward Roottree. Then is this, who else is Clancy? Clancy Jr. Roottree. So he's president number 2. Okay, so we know that. So Clancy Jr., President 2. Lauren, sister. Okay. Okay. Pop argued Clancy would have wanted it, but he's the one who volunteered. Instead, it ended up. Oh, wait. Instead, it ended up going to Zach. Who's Zach? Wait. Okay. He's the firstborn son of the firstborn of 5. Oh, golly. Okay. Okay, so that would be Gwendolyn. Okay, so presidents. So we have Elias 1, Zach 2. Instead, it ended up going to Zach, even though his surname doesn't match the candy. He's the firstborn son of the firstborn 5-piece. I'm not sure how that's relevant to running a company, but Granddad has always had very particular views when it comes to his bloodline. I asked Clancy if it ever came up that a woman could take over. After all, Angie's older than Zach, and I'm next oldest of all of us, but he just laughed. I'll never forget the cuss words Pop used when he told Ma it wouldn't go to us. Mother, ever the quick-witted, at least with catty remarks, countered back. Maybe they wanted to go to only members of the family who look like he samples the product. Jeez Louise. Lauren, let's go back to Lauren here. And, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Mother, ever the quick wit. Let's just highlight that, mostly because it's funny. Okay, so we know that Zach, so Angie is first. So Angela Morden, here we go. So these are the Mordens. Zach Morden. This is a Morden. James Morden. So he's president 2, actually. So he's president 2. We'll get rid of you because you are not president 2. Unknown occupation. You are president 2. But we don't know who's, like, we don't have a picture of Zach. But we do actually have a picture of Lauren now, right? So that can go. Oh, and what was her husband's name? Jacob and Clark. Okay, Jacob and Clark. So Jacob Rafferty, you go here. You are Clark Rafferty. Don't have a picture of you just yet, but you're an author. Okay, so we're filling it out. So we have Gwendolyn, Angelica, Zachariah, president number 2. Then at some point, president number 3 happens somewhere along the lines. Okay. This is Dynasty, so we'll do this. A diary entitled Sam from Lauren Roottree's diary, written in 1963 from a previous entry, you learn that Elias Roottree had given in to his wife and announced that Sam, an obscure relative. Okay, hold on. Sam, an obscure relative, would be included in family gatherings. Elias Roottree had given in to his wife. Gwyneth had been pushing to include Sam for quite some time. Why Sam? I have many distant relatives I've never met, after all. Granny had sisters and Granddad had a brother or two, but I was told trim their branches from the family tree. So why is Sam special? Nothing adds up, and I'm not the only one to realize. Angie summed up the next gens to a secret... Oh, wow. Angie summoned all of the next gens to a secret meeting in Zach's office. Gwen's in Paris, but the rest of us, including Miracle's boys, spent ages trying to unravel the mystery. I didn't recognize Sam at Uncle Junior's wedding to Patsy last year. At the reception, when I asked who Sam was, Pop shushed me and said it was complicated. Clancy swore he saw Sam working alongside the farmhands, EC and John, when we used to drive past the old Anderson farm on his way to work. Upon hearing that, Zach checked the records and managed to confirm all three are on the books. Eli, Miracle's youngest brother, not my brother, even chimed in. Apparently, when he was riding his mini bike alongside the farm a few weeks ago, Sam gave him some old tools and taught him how to make the bike's engine faster. None of us think that proper for a multitude of reasons, but Eli certainly seems thrilled. At the end of the day, nothing explains why an outsider has cozied into family affairs, especially one who works on the farm of all places. Whatever happened to blood is thicker than syrup? Why is Granddad making an exception now? Interesting. Wait, who did I say was Eli? Oh, I said that was Eli. Maybe that's not Eli. Maybe this is Eli. Elias C. Roottree. Elias M. Roottree. Oh no. Wait. Clancy Jr. Who is Elias? Elias C. Roottree. Okay. Elias M. Roottree? No. Okay. So we're going to have to figure out which is which. Because Eli, there's two Elis. There's Lauren's Eli, younger brother, or there's Miracle's youngest Eli. Great. One of the final entries is called Clark from Lauren Rootree's diary, written in 1964. Well, that's... Oh, geez Louise. Clark. Okay, so... Clark's getting married and, in my opinion, far too young. He's barely 18, for God's sake, and Danielle isn't much older. After all, Jacob and I got married at 16. So Danielle, hold on. That's her son. Danielle. Must be Danielle Franks. Clark, like the rest of his generation, is a free spirit. What else do you call a group of kids growing up with more money than any one person can spend? They all aspire to be musicians and artists and dancers and all sorts of nonsense. The only one who has any discipline is Carl, but that's because Pop forced Clancy to send him to the academy. Pop forced Clancy to send him to the academy. So, Pop forced Clancy to send Carl to the academy. Okay, got it. And Clancy Jr., yeah, all we know is that she's his sister. Maybe I'm just getting old, but our generation was never so bad. My brothers all seemed to pursue passive knowledge, and the most rebellious thing any of us ever did was bring home someone who would be illegal to marry if we lived anywhere south of Pennsylvania. Oh boy. Oh boy. Can you read between the lines for that one? Jeez. Pop seems to have gotten over it because Edward is set to take over his department when he retires. Edward is set to take over his department. So Edward has to be the last son, right? No. Wait. Oh, there's two more. Okay. Okay, well, this could actually be Edward Roottree, right? And he's going to be a lawyer. And then this one is going to be one of the Eli's. Eli C or Eli M. My guess is that he's going to be an Edward Clancy. So let's just say that Edward Clancy, no. Eli C. He's going to be an Elias C Roottree. Don't know his. And we're going to say, because of Miracle, we're going to say he's Eli M. Okay, still need pictures for them, but I think we're filling it out. Let's go back here. And as for me, my first book published, Swashbuckle My Heart, Lauren. Highlight that. Is based on pirate stories I used to invent with Jacob when we were walking in the woods after school. I think he'd be proud that Clark and I are carrying on his name. Even my cousins are doing well. Zach's not a bad president after all, and his sister seems to be doing a good job raising her twins. Zach's not. Gwen is Gwen, but at least she came out of the divorce with her head held high. She even told us she might come home next year so we can meet her kids. But the free spirits in any other family, they'd all end up on the streets, even Clark. Okay. So we got a lot of information out of that, actually. And then who is this? Lauren's diary contains some labeled pictures. This is the 5 pieces. Let's take pictures. Oh. Wow, okay. Caption, this picture was famous in our house. Pop even had it framed. That's him on the left. So that is you. That is you. You are Clancy Edward Roottree. Okay. It was taken in 1935 to celebrate the move to the new warehouse that Eli Jr. designed. Angie and I both wanted to be in the photo since Miracle was in it. And the 3 of us were all about the same age. We were told only the 5 pieces, which really didn't go over so well, to say the least. Eventually, I suppose, to stop the tantrums, they posed us in front of the camera with Mr. Morden, who was there with Aunt Gwendolyn. I found out years later that they never even took a second photo. Okay, so this has to be... Wait, this has to be the youngest. Miracle. Okay, I don't know which ones we've done, but we did some of them. Holy moly. Perfect. And we unlocked... Ooh, okay. Wow. Wow, we did a lot. Okay. Okay, let's just put this in real quick because I will absolutely 100 forget. WRTD News. Okay, but before I do that, I want to finish this because... So, I'm thinking that this is the other brother, and then these two, so... who's that? Marguerite. I don't know who Marguerite is yet. And I don't know who that is. But this has to be the oldest, right? Yeah. So that is wrong. That is that you? That's you. And then, oh, but she was a housewife. Because they said that, Lauren said that everyone was a housewife prior to, right? So he's an architect. She has to be a housewife. Then I would think it's one of these two pictures. If I had to guess. You? Or you and you? There we go. I knew it had to be, it had to be switched around at some point. I just wasn't sure which ones were which. And we didn't unlock anybody, or we didn't lock anybody down, but